right, let's get started. Welcome everybody to this week's weekly town hall meeting, December 10th, 2021. The agenda will be projects and development updates, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and Q&A. Project and development, Bobinson, if you want to take the mic.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, so this is about the DEX UI's preview release. Just a recap of major features that we have completed, and so what we're working on right now is there are a few bug fixes and usability enhancements all over the app. So we're working on those fixes, and there are a couple of reports like junk assets being visible in the live or the mainnet UI. So we are working on various enhancements like this, and we'll be able to wind up the UX, most of these developments soon. Please go to the next slide, Kelly. Okay, this is again a snapshot of the current progress, the charts. Henry, you may want to pitch in regarding these charts.
All right. So this chart displays progress of our current iteration, which will finish in the middle of December, in December 15. So the goal of this iteration is to add some enhancement and fix some bugs that we haven't fixed before. Okay, so the whole team, the same team that developed DEX, is doing this ongoing improvements, and so we will finish by December 15. After that, all devs will switch to a new version of DEX.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a summary of ongoing changes, and the next slide also has a slightly different format where we have captured the same information. So Kelly, can you go to the next slide? Okay, slide number 7. So this is essentially the same information which was shown in the previous chart. So this over a period of a few weeks, what we're expecting is this particular format will help us to show the progress on a weekly basis. So the slide, for example, shows the total number of features that we have completed during the period of entire November. So around 31 items were completed, or features were completed, and 92 bugs were fixed during the month of November. And the QA has raised around 53 bugs. And currently, over a period of last 10 days, we have completed one feature. Okay, so there are 3 features in progress, and which means that this is under development, and 6 of them in testing. And we have also fixed 10 bugs. QA has created 19 new bugs, and we have various features and bugs in review. There are a total of 17 items in review. These are development complete, but waiting for either a review from the reviewers or waiting for testing. So this is a detailed status of what's going on with the DEX UI. Okay, let's go to slide number 8. Okay, this slide, this is primarily about the upcoming next project and the UX enhancements we are bringing in. So we have a presentation planned next week where we will present the entirety of next screens, and that which will be on approval. Those screens will be picked up by the UI development team. Slide number 9. That's the next slide. So this is about the next projects. So what's happening is we are setting up the development environment, identifying the tools. So roughly, this is what's going on. We have identified React and Next.js and TypeScript for the development, and for the UI components, we are considering Ant Designs component, which is compatible with our planned MIT versioning, MIT licensing. And so right now, Ali and Ivan are working on this with inputs from Kritika. And in the next weeks, we'll see a lot more activity here, and most of the activity will switch from Dex UI to the Next. So that's the charts are quite minimal because there is essentially minimal work going on. So I won't get into the nitty gritties of explaining it. So let's go to slide number 10.
I have a comment on next. Okay, so currently, yes, they are in the middle of the requirements gathering, analysis, and design, right? So we developed the functional specs, and we have all the mockups. Thank you so much, Kritika, for your great work. Okay, and we are hiring new developers to increase our team bandwidth in order to accomplish this in time, like by the end of December. Well, that's it. That's from my 5 cents to this.
Okay, thank you. The next one is slide number 10. So the next few slides are about the blockchain related development. Uh, so here also the status remains pretty much the same. What's happening is we are merging the various fixes and enhancements to the mainnet. Earlier we tried to do this with only the Hive related fixes and some of the Bitcoin related fixes, but now we are incorporating more fixes, which involves both Hive Suns as well as the Bitcoin Suns. If you go to the slide number 11, that's the next slide. Uh, it talks about so the only new change in this slide is the first item where we have one new witness, a testnet witness has joined the Yammer testnet, and everything else remains the same. Yammer has the latest update, and there is a Dex UI connected to it. Um, so that remains same. And slide number 12. This is the slide number 12. This talks about the Bitcoin Sun related fixes. As I mentioned earlier, there are various fixes. We have completed those fixes, and the QA is verifying them, and we are in the process of merging all these. So with these changes, and I think there is some more in the next slide. Let's go to the next slide as well. The blockchain updates. So these three slides summarizes all the fixes and enhancements which is happening on the blockchain side, and uh, we'll be merging this hopefully in over the next few days, 2 or 3 days, and having a release sent to the mainnet with a hard fork date possibly around 20th of December. So we're working on these, and there are no blockages right now. And slide number 14 has again a chart of various activities. This also here also we're trying to outline what we achieved in November, and what has been completed in the last 10 or 12 days. So we have two features completed, and there are some features in progress. And the major chunk of the work has gone into bug fixes. There are 6 new bugs fixed, and there are also 4 of them uh, newly identified by the QA. I don't think most of them are uh, very critical. there are probably one of them which is very critical. Otherwise, I think we are good to have good to proceed with the mainnet release. So, Henry, do you have any insights on these blockchain related fixes and
All right,
enhancements?
all right. So we are planning to finish 1 week before the end of December, just to give witnesses enough time to update their notes and for any unknowns that may happen. Okay, so that's why the end date is December 24, not December 31.
Okay, thank you. And let's go to slide number 15, the Peerplays JS library. This is again, the focus is again on one Sun Hive related fixes, not fixes, features that which has been completed. And we are solely focused on the vulnerability fixes and various security fixes. Uh, it looks like we have completed most of the reported vulnerabilities and fixes, and right now we are testing this against a Text UI branch. Uh, so this is, I think, early next week we'll be able to complete this. And the next step would be we'll be merging these changes to a branch called PBSA develop, which is the branch used by all other applications. And so there is also a chart here. Henry, if you want to add any points?
Okay, all right. So our developers work all together to create test cases and to do this white box testing. It's going to be white box testing because we know which components, we know the code, and guys who create testing scenarios know the code pretty well, and they know which areas may be affected by the changes in the libraries. So I expect very solid testing. White box testing, and yes, it will be finished very soon, next week. So
Okay, thank you. Let's go to slide 16. This is about the claim drop website, which two of the developers are working on. Uh, it looks like most of the basic functionality up to the actual claim drop has been completed. I think the claim drop bug also, there was a small bug in the claim drop, the claim process, which I think is might have been fixed by now. So what is pending here is the integration with the Yammer testnet, and we also have gaps in the real snapshot creation, and we are also getting early feedbacks for various small changes like logo changes and various description changes, etc. So we are incorporating those changes as well. Let's go to slide number 17. This is on the snapshot. So this is a Hive snapshot we needed for uh, the actual claim drop of various Speak Network tokens. So we have identified a large number of operations which contributes to the Hive power or vested Hive balances, and we are incorporating them one by one, and it looks like we have to incorporate at least two or three more operations and their changes, and with that we should be done with the claim drop. So right now we are able to take a snapshot against a given uh, block number, that is a given timestamp. That part is working, and the high vested or vesting balance is pretty much accurate except for two or three items. So there's been huge progress in this particular aspect as well. So that's pretty much all about the development update. Thank you, and over to the marketing team.
Thank you, Robinson. Michael?
Hello, everybody. I'm going to go over our marketing updates for this week. First one, and I think it's a pretty important one, we've created and are implementing an outreach program with a liaison in Peerplays to more effectively communicate with witnesses and node operators. His name is Dave. He's just started with us this week, but does have experience with us from years ago. He is going to kind of be the face to the witnesses and the node operators for any questions they have or any problems they have with actually performing their duties as a witness, making sure that all the configurations are correct if there's any issues and whatnot going forward. They'll be communicating through him to us, and then we'll communicate to him to go back to the community at large, because there had been some breakdowns in that, and we recognize the importance of the witnesses and the node operators for our success. So we're putting something in place to better facilitate the communication between us and them. So that will be an important feature going forward, and I'm pretty happy that we're doing that. I've also continued laying out the format for the look back, kind of like a roadmap to where we are today, why we are where we're at versus what was expected in 2017, and then what our vision is going forward and where we're going to be going. The work on that is continuing, and I hope to be able to get that out. I don't want to pin a time because there is a lot of work. I need to get a lot of detail and stories with respect to everything that happens over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, but it is continuing and it is being worked on, and will get released when it is polished and complete. I've also continued to do the work and laying out for the roadmap that will be released at the end of the month to go forward, the quarterly outlooks that we were doing to have the roadmap going. And I've also been working on the content and laying out the subpages for the new peerplays.com website that will be expected to be released before the end of the year. And that's my update. So I will turn it over to Salah for a performance update.
Good morning, everyone. So this is a snapshot of this week's media performance, social media performance. So far, we started seeing like a positive growth across most of our social media, and then especially in terms of engagement and reach, which is a good indicator of our like new strategy of getting new branding way of Peerplays, like in terms of content and posts on social media. This week also we have sent an email. Can you, Kelly, go to the next slide? All right, so we have sent an email regarding the Dix UI and the new feature, the new release, and then it has the email was successful, and we had like a lot of open rates, and also in terms of clicks and engagement. Kelly, if you can go to the next slide. So the main things about the email that we are starting to get to the next level is about to get more engaged with our email database and community. Especially we can see through this stat that we have more clicks on our social media, and have like for the Hive the blog article that is based on that the email is based on, and we'll be going through next weeks to get more emails specific for all our newsletter, our new releases, and also the news for Peerplays across all tools and especially the decks. So this is from the sides of the performance on marketing. Over to you, Kelly.
Thank you very much, Salah and Michael. Jonathan, can you please give us the collaborations update?
Thank you very much. So for collaborations in this past week, there were quite a few phone calls and meetings in relation to working with Peerplays. Probably the most primary one was the one with Parlay in regards to NFTs. They've finally finalized the designs working with us in relation to that. They call it Casino 3.0, essentially, is what they like to call this platform that's going to be utilizing primarily NFTs from Peerplays. with some future prospects of evolving into a POW later on. So that's pretty exciting. They're very excited. As a matter of fact, they sent an update today that they've already started working on the development. So it's moving along quite quick. So that's good. And also in gaming, Gaming Benefits Corp is another organization we're working with. They showed to us the raffle system that they're creating, which is also to be utilizing Peerplays token ecosystem within that raffle. And also in gaming, the popular Hive game that I mentioned in previous updates, they got back to us. It looks like they're going to be putting on hold any decision until early next year. So won't be any more updates on that going forward until we get there and see if we're going to be continuing with that. In finance, other collaborators we're working with, Decentral Capital, they contacted us this past week in relation to working with another company who specializes in creating tokens for other organizations, companies. They could represent loans, they could represent stocks, they could represent all kinds of things. And they specialize in helping these companies to essentially tokenize their economies. So they are wanting to use Peerplays primarily because of our Sun's capability that's going to allow for them to be able to access other blockchains in a decentralized fashion. So that discussion started this past week, and that's going to be an ongoing development. So that was quite exciting. And in infrastructure, Internet of Things project I've been talking about also continue this week. We have them now corresponding with our technical team to get finalized designs so that we can be able to move forward on that. There will be more on that next week. In infrastructure, Koinos Group, there was meetings and discussions in relation to Koinos technology and what they're doing with it. It's been publicly announced that they're going to be launching their mainnet in Q2 next year, which is exciting. We are talking about how we might be working with them with Peerplays. There'll be more on that in the future. Nothing specific I can talk about at the moment. So with all of these collaborations going on, it was very clear this past week that it's the Sun's capability of Peerplays that is really driving interest to Peerplays with these collaborations, because they're going to be able to have access to Ethereum blockchain in the future. They understand that's not available now, but they'll also have access to native Bitcoin and Hive here and Hive-backed dollars in the very near future, and they understand that as well. So because of that kind of positioning, it's allowing us to be able to give greater value compared to a lot of other chains where they'll be needing to deal with bridges and things like that. And also the Peerplays assets, which we already have in the chain, is also driving this. So yeah, that was primarily what was driving a lot of the collaborations this past week, and those were the ones that we had this past week. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Jonathan. All right, finally, we have questions, comments, and thoughts. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or thoughts? Okay, I have a few questions. So this one would be directed towards the marketing team. Michael, how are you addressing the lack of communication with the community that has been prevalent over the years?
Thanks, Kelly. I think we've already begun doing that. I committed to issuing roadmaps quarterly that gives an outlook over the next at least 2 quarters. The first one extended beyond that. I anticipate they always will as we have an eye going forward. That is something that isn't new, but it had lapsed for a while. So that's something that I want to bring back. And like I said, I committed to doing that going forward. We've done a lot more frequent posting in terms of blog posts on our account through the Hive blog and putting announcements out there. We've been a bit more effectively engaged in the Telegram community and going forward with communications there to try and bridge whatever information gaps there are. And part of the one thing that I mentioned that I was working on is to bridge some of those gaps of information, where we can get people on the same page as where we are. We know things that some of the community doesn't know, whether that be they missed it or it was something that wasn't communicated either at all or effectively. There was an information gap, so we're trying to bridge that as well. And that's another reason we put in place the outreach program for the witnesses and node operators. They're vital to the successful operation of our blockchain. And I recognize that there's been a breakdown in communication between them and Peerplays. So the outreach liaison, Dave, is going to be in place to correct that.
Thank you. Bobinson, this one I think is for you. When can the witnesses and community be able to exchange PPY with BTC?
Okay, this would for this to happen in a seamless manner, we would need the next hard fork. That is, we had previously mentioned that around 15th of December we'll have a mainnet mainnet release of the mainnet release, or the new version of the code will be released. And I think around as soon as this particular release is available, people should be able to send and receive bitcoins to the Peerplays blockchain.
Thank you. And last question, how would a new community member become a witness? Is there a process or a document for that?
So for a new community member, the documentation is available, but even though the documentation is available, there are challenges with respect to getting PPY. So that is one roadblock which many has indicated. So the technical documentation is available, but for this getting hands on the PPY tokens, we have to formulate a plan and identify credible people who or individuals or groups who are interested in becoming witnesses, and we must create a proper onboarding mechanism. That's an ongoing work, and we are working on that at this point.
Thank you. Is there a date set for that, like a goal date?
I don't have a date, but I would say this is required as of yesterday.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other questions? If not, I will end this week's weekly meeting. Thank you everybody very much, and we will see you next week.